Welcome, Angie. Stage is yours.
All right. Hello, my name is Angie C, and I'm an artist from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about brainwave-controlled TONTO. I'm not sure if you guys, some of you had a chance to check out our documentary video on the site, but I just wanted to kind of run through a little bit of my background and what we did to pull off brainwave-controlled TONTO and what exactly TONTO is. And then if there's any questions that anyone has, I'm happy to answer those. So just before I start, is my audio okay? Can you hear me all right? Yeah, okay, perfect. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me just see here. Sorry, it's asking me to open my preferences. One moment. Sherry, I might actually have to log back out. It's asking me to change my settings for Zoom. Just give me one moment.
Gosh, I think maybe Angie's going to come back in. There she is at the waiting room.
Okay, can you share it? Can you see my desktop right now?
Like we can see your desktop.
Yeah.
You're a busy lady.
Fantastic.
There's a lot of files on there.
I know. Don't, please don't judge. All right, just a second here.
No problem. Take your time.
PowerPoint. Okay. Just going to open up PowerPoint.
All
right, can you see that?
Yes. And awesome. If you, yeah, perfect.
Yep. Okay, perfect. We are ready to rock. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Okay, so brainwave-controlled TONTO. So I have a degree in neuroscience, and I've been a long time musician. And a couple of years back, probably about 2016, I started merging like science and art in some unique ways, specifically focusing around using a brainwave headset and using that data from brainwaves to actually do things with it. So the thing that we're here to talk about today is brainwave-controlled TONTO. So TONTO is the world's largest analog synthesizer, and it just so happens to be located here in Calgary, Alberta. So we're really lucky to have this incredible instrument just down the street. And when I was applying for funding to record an album a couple of years ago, I was thinking, how can I make this really unique and something that's going to stand out as a musical project? So I thought, you know what, let's try doing brainwaves. I have some of those. I love that on them. So what if we took a brainwave headset and applied it to TONTO? It really kind of became a thought, basically a thought experiment around like merging these two different worlds of the analog and the digital. So Tonto was created by Malcolm Cecil back in the late 1960s. Some of you may be familiar with it from Stevie Wonder's album. He did a lot of work with it, and it's been featured in TV and film movies. This machine is just wild. It's got, you can see here on the screen, multiple cabinets. It's made up of a combination of a bunch of different modular synthesizers. So there's some Moog synthesizers. We have I believe it's the Oppenheim. There's also the ARP 2600s. There's drum machines and keyboards. So it's like you go into this thing and you can make an entire orchestra of sounds. So the thing that was a unique challenge with this particular project is that we actually, because it's analog, it doesn't accept like digital information. So we ended up having to use, instead of using digital information from the headset, we had to actually convert it to control voltage. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but I've got a few props. So this is the headset that we used. It's the Emotive Epoch Plus headset. You can see there's all kinds of sensors on it, and it just basically goes on your head like a nice little hat. And our engineer, Mitchell Claxton, created this special box that we've actually called the Brain Box, appropriately. And what this has inside of it is a bunch of digital to analog converter pieces. And these are all the different outputs, the output functions here. So what we were able to do is take the digital information from the headset, convert it into control voltage, and spit it out to Tonto with cables. And a lot of the different parameters we used were actually emotional data algorithms that have been created by Emotive. So things like frustration, stress, there was also engagement, and meditation. So there's various parameters we could actually control. So when we got good with just using like one parameter, like say stress levels, if that was something that really fluctuated for a particular person, we then added in something like engagement. So you could actually send the different emotional parameters to different filters on Tonto and manipulate the sound coming from Tonto. Another thing we did that took it another step further is there was a John Broadwood grand piano in the room from 1900. And we actually recorded the piano, and then we ran the piano through Tonto and manipulated it with brainwaves using the filters on Tonto. So there's kind of like a bunch of different things that we tried. We were recording in the studio probably, I would say about 25 hours, and everything went off really, really smoothly. So we were really excited about it. And we got lots of sounds from Tonto. And I think one of the things that was most striking to me is that for each person that wore the headset, it's almost like they had to come up with their own mental cues to control the sound. So for instance, for myself, I would envision like a purple flame coming down through my body. And so I was able to control the pitch on a filter. So as I'm thinking of the flame going down through my body, the pitch is coming down like, wee, and then going back up. I really also enjoyed working with the low frequency oscillator on Tonto because it's a pretty obvious like change in the sound when you're working with the rate of the LFO. My friend Mitchell, he was actually really good at turning Tonto on and off because he's able to just like blank out completely, and he could just turn Tonto off by just thinking of literally nothing. And then my friend Jane, she was also in the studio, and she found that when she thought of like the galaxy and like very expansive things, that things would kind of become more active in the music. And then if she thought about something like a normal day-to-day activity, like making a sandwich, it just did nothing. So it was really neat because each person had their own sort of way of interacting with the instrument. I do have a couple of videos here that I can show you. Let me just flip through here. Now, I haven't tested video out here in Zoom, but we can give this a try. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you hear that? No? Yeah, you can hear it? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time. So but here's when I'm actually manipulating the low frequency oscillator, a soft play. Okay. I wonder if it will help if I turn the audio up. One moment, let's try that one more time. And I'll try muting. Okay. Okay, was that a little better that time?
It's still a little
Still
soft.
really is it? Okay, let me try the next video. So this was Jane.
Maybe you needed to thank
Share.
you. Yeah, share
Computer auto? Okay. Let me try here. Here we go. Got it. Thanks, you guys. I'm new at this. You guys hear that? Awesome. Okay. So this is Jane.
Hear that?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so rad.
Going to every television.
Okay, and I'll just go back and play that last one again. This will be the low frequency oscillator. So like when I'm first starting out and that low frequency oscillator is really spinning really quickly, that's when I'm first thinking of this purple flame kind of like up here. And then as it comes down and I think of it going down into my feet, it's just, you can hear it, just the rate of the oscillation just like completely slowing down. And then the last one, which was quite fun actually. So there was this particular, programming with Tonto. Can't hear me speaking? Okay.
I can hear you speaking.
Can you? Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's my actual brainwaves that are actually controlling and manipulating the sound. And it's just by thinking of different mental cues. One thing I noticed, if I think of the question why in my head and just I say the word why in my head, my brain gets really excited. So that was another one that I kind of used as a way to make the sound like kind of pop. So we had a whole bunch of different things that we trialed with that. And the last video I'll show you here, there's a particular program with Tonto that was unique to Malcolm Cecil. He had a way of making like bird sounds, and also there's like ocean sounds that Tonto could make, like super weird. But we ended up making Space Birds, which we put in a meditation track that's on my album. So this is just a little example of making space birds with my brain.
You guys, I'm making space birds with my brain.
So kind of cute. I'll play it one more time.
You guys, I'm making space birds with my brain.
All right, so that's kind of all I had. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook, all that good stuff, I've got all my links here on the screen. I do have my first single out called Magnum Cherry off of my album called Star Seeds. And there will be more coming. So there's going to be another single coming in the summertime. And then in September, we'll drop the full album with the third single called Worlds Away. So the whole album kind of takes you through this nice journey of like it starts really dark and heavy and then ends off being this light, airy, like ethereal kind of theme and message to it. So I guess the whole theme of the name of the album, Star Seeds, is, you know, it's almost like channeling like this new way of doing music. So yeah, do you guys have any questions at all? I see Loriano, what's the origin of the name? Do you mean of Tonto? Yeah, so Tonto, there's actually a really good Wikipedia page that I found. You can look it up. It's so the full name, it's an acronym for the original new Timbral Orchestra. So it's TONTO. And there's a really good Wikipedia page that kind of explains all the background on it. If you look up Tonto's Expanding Headband, and it will talk about the history of Malcolm Cecil and also his partner on the project, Robert. Basically kind of how they started building it and putting all these modular synths together. Something that's super cool, like when you look at the back, yeah, there you go. So Mitch has it in the chat. So there's a synth band called Tonto's Expanding Headband. So there's a ton of information if you Google that. But one really little cool piece of trivia is that they actually have a cable from one of the Apollo space missions connecting all the synths because it just takes so much juice and electricity to run this thing. So that was kind of a really neat piece of trivia. Awesome.
Other questions too, you guys can definitely unmute. I don't know, Marty, I'm going to call you out. I know you've got a little bit of history here. I don't know if you care to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I actually invited Bob Margolis to join. Unfortunately, I guess he's not here.
Oh,
but
awesome.
Yeah, but Bob's, you know, the question I have for you is, Malcolm aware of what you were working on before he passed away?
Yeah, so he actually tuned in he was on Zoom for about 4 hours in our recording session with Tonto. So he was in the room virtually and we got to chat with him, and like, he's such a brilliant guy. He, even to see him on the screen, he was telling me about things like dome theory. And so I haven't had a chance to look up that, but like, it's just wild to, like, he's just such a brilliant man. So we were really fortunate to have him tune in and see this all working.
Some of the trivia, and there's endless trivia on Tonto, but if everybody goes to YouTube and searches under Phantom of the Paradise, that was an early Brian De Palma movie. It's featured. That's Studio B at Record Plant, Los Angeles, in the early 1970s, and I can talk endlessly about it. But the case of Tonto, the design was designed by a guy named John Storick, who designed Jimi Hendrix's studio, Electric Lady Studios in New York. That was just a fantastic piece of work that Malcolm did.
Yeah.
and obviously was known most for the classic period, Stevie Wonder's classic period in the 70s.
Yeah.
That's when they did the most of their work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice to like kind of bring it back into the music scene again, because like it was so ahead of its time. Like when I stand in that room with it, I was just blown away that this was created, you know, back in the late 1960s. So I know there's another artist, I believe her name is Robin Hake, possibly. I think she's from Toronto, but she was just doing a residency there. So yeah, it's nice to get some more exposure for it because it's really iconic.
Well, the real problem was there was no place to put it. You know, it lived in Malcolm's barn up in Saugerties in New York for many years,
Oh
disassembled.
wow.
And it was fortunate that the museum, before he passed away, that I was able to buy it and recommission it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
That's
congratulations,
awesome.
congratulations on the work you're doing. It's great stuff.
Yeah, and I'll connect with you, or if you want to connect with me on email or whatnot, that'd be
Sure.
awesome. Perfect. Anyone else
Cool.
with any questions?
Any other questions? Gosh, we still have 6 minutes.
I know.
And I can get you two connected, Angie.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, I think for me, going forward, just as an artist, brainwave controlled music really excites me, just kind of as my own personal pet project. So I just think there's so much power in the mind, and just with the way technology is going, especially with artificial intelligence, I'm sure the algorithms will just keep getting better and better with these things.
Yeah. Do you know the project called the Motabit?
No.
Okay, I need to connect you with that too. Sean Montgomery, who is
Yep.
a maker, and he's been working on, actually, I think it was just a Kickstarter, and he exceeded his goal. I did connect him with, you know Shannon and Elena from Make Fashion, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, also other great friends. Anyway, I will make sure to get you connected with him too, because he's working on brainwaves and feedback and whatnot. So
Nice.
that's good.
Awesome.
Excellent. Anyone else? I know Daniel's on, he's up next with the performance, but it's so great to have you, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. And I'm going to stop recording. It looks like Marty shared a link as well.